In the far reaches of the galaxy, the Valari Star Union thrived as a peaceful alliance of many alien races. Their cities floated among the stars, enormous structures of shining metal and colored energy, humming with quiet life. Yet, despite their strength, they held a secret fear. A whisper from the past that had haunted their histories for centuries. The story spoke of a race that once existed on a planet called Earth, a blue world in the Milky Way galaxy. These beings were called humans. Legends described them as strong, cunning, and fearless creatures who could survive in worlds others deemed unlivable. But over time, the stories faded. Most Valari dismissed them as myths, fairy tales for younglings meant to teach bravery and courage. Yet somewhere in the depths of the galaxy, the memory lingered like a shadow. At the edge of the outer rim, a small mining colony called Terrace 9 orbited a gray, lifeless rock. Its miners had long worked in silence, extracting rare crystals needed for starship engines. Life was harsh, lonely, and dangerous. But Terrace 9 endured. One day, without warning, a strange signal echoed across the colony's communications array. It was faint, distorted, and almost impossible to trace. But what caught attention was its origin. Outside known territories, in a region thought safe from all threats, the colony's chief engineer, a tall alien with shimmering blue skin named Lareth, frowned at the readings. "This is no ordinary distress call," he said. His voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. "Whatever it is, it's coming fast." The colony's leader, a Valari named Saren, looked grim. "Send scouts. Find out what it is, and prepare the defenses. If it's hostile, we cannot survive unprepared." Hours later, the Valari dispatched 3 small scout ships, sleek and glimmering, to trace the signal. They crossed the void, passing empty planets and asteroid fields, until they arrived near the signal's origin. What they saw made their antennas shake and their sensors scream. 3 fleets of ships floated in silence, destroyed and burned, drifting like broken pieces of metal in the void. There were no survivors. The scouts' AI systems scanned for energy traces, weapons usage, and signatures, but nothing matched anything in their records. Until one scanner blinked red, warning of a forbidden signal pattern. It matched only one category in the Valari archives: human. The legends were real. Back at the Valari Star Union, the Council convened an emergency meeting. It was held in the Hall of Convergence, a vast dome that reflected the stars like mirrors. Representatives of dozens of species crowded the room, their forms strange and varied. Some were tall and thin, others small and insect-like, and some that seemed made entirely of light. All shared the same tension, the same fear. A young Valari historian, Talon, addressed the council. "For centuries, we believed humans were extinct, if they ever existed at all. But recent events suggest otherwise. We cannot ignore the evidence," some council members scoffed. "Stories do not become truth simply because of anomalies," said Kira, a high-ranking diplomat. Humans were said to be reckless, unpredictable, and wild. If they exist, why would they appear now? Before Talon could answer, a new report came in. More energy traces, more ship signatures, approaching fast from the direction of Terrace 9. The room went silent. Every sensor and communication channel confirmed it. Something enormous was moving through hyperspace. Minutes later, a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen emerged from the stars. Shadows bigger than moons drifted in the void, lined with countless cannons. Engines glowing faintly with blue energy. The Valari fleet froze in awe. They had expected pirates, raiders, maybe even an unknown alien army. But this was different. The largest ship, almost 100 kilometers long, held a shape that was familiar yet alien. Its hull reflected starlight, like a mirror, and strange symbols ran across its sides. It was alive with energy, pulsing in quiet rhythm. The Valari sensors confirmed one impossible fact. The ship, and all its companions, matched the forbidden human signatures. For decades, These beings had been considered extinct, a myth whispered to children. And now, they were real, right before the council's eyes. A message came through the communications array. In perfect Valari language, though the sound carried an unfamiliar tone. To the Valari Union. Do not fear. Humanity has returned. The council erupted in shock. Some gasped. Some whispered among themselves. Some simply sat frozen, staring at the growing fleet. Outside the council chambers, the Valari citizens watched as the ships moved closer. The largest vessel descended slowly toward Terrace 9. From its hull, smaller crafts deployed, gliding like silent predators. Their speed, their precision, and their sheer size left everyone in awe. The legends had not been exaggerated. Humans were not only real, they were powerful beyond imagination. At Terrace 9, Saren watched through the colony's observation dome as one of the smaller human crafts landed on a nearby plateau. From it, a figure emerged. Tall, confident, and unarmed, Admiral Mara Vance walked toward the Valari scouts. She carried no weapons, yet every movement radiated authority. The scouts hesitated, unsure whether to attack or retreat. Mara raised her hand, signaling peace. "We are not here to fight," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We have come because your colony is in danger. An enemy approaches. One that will not stop until it consumes everything in its path." The Valari scientists scrambled to analyze her words. The warnings sounded impossible. "What enemy?" asked Lareth. "There is nothing known in this region that can destroy entire fleets." Mara's expression did not change. "It is called the Morrow Swarm, a mechanical hive that devours worlds. You cannot fight it alone. But together, we can stop it." The Valari hesitated. Some still doubted her. They had fought many threats in the past and survived. Could these humans, who were supposed to be extinct, truly help them? Yet something in Mara's eyes, in her calm command, stirred a sense of trust. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the human fleet moved as one. Their engines whispered in space, and their weapons hummed with power. These were not primitive ships. Each vessel carried systems unknown to the Valari, designs refined over centuries of survival in the harshest regions of space. Every soldier aboard had been trained to perfection. Every weapon had been tested in combat. Back on Terrace 9, the Valari scientists began scanning the human ships. They detected energy shields that could withstand multiple fleet-wide attacks, propulsion systems capable of speeds no Valari ship had ever reached, and weapons that could obliterate entire ships in a single strike. Talon, the historian, could hardly contain her excitement. "It's all true," she whispered. "The legends. Humans were never just stories. They were real, and they were more incredible than we imagined." As night fell on Terrace 9, the human crafts continued their work, analyzing the surrounding space for threats. The Valari watchers, though nervous, began to feel a strange sense of relief. The humans were here, and perhaps, just perhaps, they were the galaxy's hope, but not everyone welcomed their arrival. In the shadows of the outer rim, an ancient intelligence stirred. The Morrow Swarm, a relic of a war long forgotten, had sensed the human fleet. Its mechanical tendrils extended silently across the void, absorbing energy, scanning for weakness. It had destroyed countless civilizations before, and now it sensed humans and their legend of power. The first wave of Morrow drones reached Terrace 9 the next day. They moved silently, consuming everything in their path. The Valari attempted to defend their colony, firing weapons, activating shields, but it was no use. The drones were faster, stronger, and more relentless than anything they had seen. Just as defeat seemed inevitable, the human fleet acted. Ships that had been waiting silently in orbit surged forward, faster than light itself, firing beams of energy that cut through the drones like they were paper. Explosions lit the void, and a soundless battle raged among the stars. The Valari watched in awe. Every legend of human bravery and power was being proven in real time. The myths of impossible survival, fearlessness, and unmatched strategy were not stories. They were real. For hours, the battle continued. The drones, relentless as they were, began to falter. The humans coordinated with a precision that no Valari officer had ever seen. Every strike, every maneuver, every action seemed perfectly calculated. Slowly, the drones began to retreat. Beaten back by humans who were supposed to be extinct, at the end of the day, Terra's 9 stood alive, though battered. The colony survived. The Valari fleet survived. And somewhere deep in their hearts, the citizens understood one undeniable truth. Humans were no longer a legend. They were here, and the galaxy would never be the same again. As the human fleet regrouped, Admiral Mara Vance sent a final message to the Valari Council. This is only the beginning. We have returned not as myths, not as stories, but as protectors of the galaxy. Stand with us, and together, we will face the darkness ahead. In the council chambers, Talon stood silently, staring at the glowing projection of the human fleet. The legends were real, she whispered again. And the legends have come alive. And in that moment, across the stars, a quiet sense of hope spread, a hope the galaxy had not felt in centuries. The humans, long thought gone, had returned. And the Valari, for the first time in ages, realized they were not alone. The day after the human fleet's arrival, the Valari Star Union buzzed with a mixture of awe, fear, and hope. Across every city and station, aliens of countless forms gazed at communications and sensors, watching the enormous ships that no one thought could exist. Humans were real, alive, and stronger than any legend had described. Yet the galaxy's danger was far from over. At Terrace 9, the miners and colonists worked alongside human engineers to repair damage caused by the initial Morrow drones. Although the human fleet had destroyed most of the attackers, pockets of mechanical enemies still floated in the outer system. Scanning, probing, learning. Admiral Mara Vance stood on the bridge of the HSS Titan, the largest human warship. Its bridge was a marvel of technology, vast and circular, with transparent floors showing the energy conduits below. Every screen, every hologram, pulsed with data. Mara's eyes, sharp and calm, swept across the displays. Status report, she said. Her first officer, a veteran human named Commander Elias Grant, replied without hesitation. Outer rim cleared of remaining drones. Colony systems are stable, but the threat could return. Long-range scans show more Morrow swarm activity near the nebula belt. Mara nodded. Prepare the fleet. We move at dawn. Meanwhile, on the Valari side, the council remained divided. Some members were awed and inspired by the humans. Others were skeptical, fearing that humans were unpredictable, wild, or even dangerous to their carefully ordered galaxy. Talon, the historian, spoke passionately. They fight with courage and intelligence, the likes of which we have never seen. They are not here to conquer, they are here to protect. We must learn from them. Kira, the skeptical diplomat, shook her head. Perhaps, but they are unknown. Unknowns are dangerous. Their ships alone are incredible. But what if their presence draws more enemies? We cannot gamble our worlds on faith in legends. Talon met her gaze. These are no longer legends. They are reality. And reality demands we adapt. Despite the debates, the humans' actions left no doubt. Mara Vance's fleet had defeated an enemy the Valari had thought unstoppable. Her people's ships were faster, stronger, and smarter than anything in the galaxy. Every alien watching the battle realized the truth. Human ingenuity was unmatched. That night, Mara convened a strategy session with Valari officers. On the holographic map of the galaxy, the Morrow swarm's activity glowed red, spreading like a shadow across countless star systems. This swarm is ancient, Mara explained. It has existed longer than your records. It consumes everything, planets, fleets, even entire moons. We have studied it for decades, surviving in remote sectors. Now it is expanding again, and if we do not stop it, your galaxy will fall." The Valari officers exchanged uneasy glances. For centuries, they had defended their worlds against pirates, raiders, and rival species, but they had never faced anything like this. The Morrow swarm was not just an enemy, it was a force of nature, relentless and unstoppable until humans arrived. The next morning, the combined fleets departed Terrace 9. The human ships led the way, their formation precise, almost like a living organism. The Valari ships followed, hesitant at first, then gaining confidence as the humans coordinated every maneuver. Commander Grant monitored the fleet's progress. "Sensors indicate large clusters of swarm drones ahead," he reported. "They are moving faster than expected. They may attempt to ambush us near the nebula belt." Mara studied the holographic projection. "Then we give them no time. Prepare for full engagement. We will not fight defensively. We strike with precision, with speed, and with courage. That is how humans survive." As they entered the nebula belt, the swarm revealed itself. Thousands of drones, black and metallic, moved like a tidal wave. Their energy cores glowed red, and strange mechanical limbs reached outward, sensing the fleet. The Valari held their positions, trembling at the scale of the enemy. Then Mara's fleet struck. Human ships surged forward, faster than light itself, weaving through the swarm with perfect timing. Energy beams cut through the enemy ranks, exploding drones in waves of light. Valari officers gasped as the humans moved as one. Every ship seemed to anticipate the other's actions, forming a seamless dance of attack and defense. It's perfect coordination," whispered a Valari admiral. "No fleet in history has ever fought like this." The battle raged for hours. Swarm drones continued to pour in, their numbers almost endless. Yet the humans did not falter. Smaller attack crafts deployed from the main ships, striking vulnerable points, while massive energy cannons tore through the swarm's main clusters. One Valari ship, a massive dreadnought called the Star Shield, became trapped in the enemy's grasp. Its engines failed under the constant assault of drones. Panic spread among the Valari crew. Without hesitation, Mara's flagship, the Titan, maneuvered through a narrow gap in the swarm. From its main cannons, a concentrated beam of light shot forward. The energy struck the Star Shield, vaporizing the drones surrounding it, and allowing the Valari ship to escape. The Valari crew watched in awe. "They are saving us! Saving us!" cried one officer. Hours later, the first wave of the swarm began to retreat. Mara's fleet pressed the advantage, pushing the drones back into deep space. The Valari officers, inspired by human courage, fought with renewed determination. Every strike from their ships became more confident, more daring. During a brief lull, Mara spoke to the Valari Council via secure channel. "This is only a temporary victory. The swarm is intelligent, it adapts. We must learn its patterns and anticipate its moves. The galaxy cannot rely on luck or hope. It must rely on skill, strategy, and courage. That is humanity's way. And now, it can be yours too." Talon, watching the holographic display of the battle, could hardly contain her excitement. "We are learning from them," she whispered. "We are witnessing true genius. Humans are not just strong, they are unstoppable because they think differently. Act bravely and never give up." The Valari began to adopt human tactics. They formed tighter formations, focused fire on weak points, and coordinated with human strike teams. Slowly, the combined fleet's effectiveness grew. What had once seemed like an impossible battle now felt winnable. At one point, a massive swarm ship, larger than any human or Valari battleship, emerged from the nebula. Its surface was jagged and armored, its core glowing with an ominous red light. The fleet faltered, unsure how to confront it. Mara, standing on the Titan's bridge, did not hesitate. "All ships, focus fire on the core. Strike together. Timing is everything. Trust each other. Trust yourselves. Trust yourselves. The human fleet moved as one. Valari ships followed suit, firing in precise coordination. The massive swarm ship shuddered under the combined assault. Its drones scattered, and its energy cores began to overload. With a final, blinding explosion, it shattered into fragments, falling into the nebula below. Cheers erupted across the Valari fleet. For the first time, they truly believed that victory was possible. Humans had not only fought, they had taught, inspired, and led. After the battle, the fleets regrouped. The survivors, both human and Valari, repaired damage and resupplied. Mara addressed the Valari Council once more. This is just the beginning. The Morrow Swarm will not give up. It will adapt, grow stronger, and seek revenge. But now, you know that humanity stands with you. Together, we are more than any enemy. Together, we are unstoppable. Talon turned to Kira, who had remained skeptical throughout the battle. Do you see now? She asked. Do you see why humans were never myths? They fight not just with weapons, but with courage, intelligence, and heart. They are a force the galaxy cannot ignore. Kira nodded, her expression softening. I see it. I cannot deny it any longer. Humans, they are remarkable. We are lucky they have returned. As the fleet moved toward the next sector of swarm activity, the Valari watched the humans at work. They marveled at their tactics, their bravery, and their unity. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the humans remained calm, precise, and fearless. The colonists of Terrace 9, who had once feared for their lives, now worked alongside human crews, learning their ways, helping repair ships, and even piloting small crafts. Hope had returned with the humans, and the future suddenly seemed brighter than it had in generations. In deep space, far beyond known territories, the swarm analyzed its defeats. It detected patterns in human behavior, adaptive strategies, and a relentless will to survive. For the first time, an enemy feared humanity not because of raw strength, but because of the intelligence, courage, and unpredictability that made them legendary. That night, as the combined fleet rested in orbit above a quiet star, Mara stood on the Titan's observation deck. She looked at the stars. Countless points of light, stretching into infinity. Her voice was soft, almost to herself. They doubted us once. They thought humans were gone, lost to myth. But now, the galaxy knows. And we will not fail. Around her, human officers prepared for the next engagement. Valari observers watched, learning, inspired. Somewhere deep in the void, the swarm gathered strength for the next attack, but the galaxy had changed forever. Humans were no longer stories. Humans were here. Humans were legends made real, and every world that faced the darkness ahead would now face it with humanity by their side. The battle was far from over, but hope had returned. And hope, guided by the courage of humans, was stronger than fear. The stars of the outer rim shone faintly through the nebula clouds. But the calm was deceptive. The Morrow Swarm, beaten back by the combined human and Valari fleet days before, was returning bigger, faster, and smarter than ever. Every sensor aboard the HSS Titan lit up with warnings. Commander Grant studied the projections and shook his head. They've adapted to our tactics, he said quietly. They've learned from every encounter. This wave is going to be worse than the last. Admiral Mara Vance's eyes were calm, unflinching. Then we adapt faster. That is what humans do. We do not wait. We strike first. And we strike together. The Valari fleet, spread in formation behind the human ships, looked uneasy. They had seen the humans in action before, and they had seen what the swarm could do. Yet, the size of the incoming wave was terrifying. Thousands upon thousands of drones moved as one, mechanical arms stretching across the void like a black tide. The swarm's energy cores glowed brighter, pulsating as if it could sense the fear in the hearts of its enemies. Talon, standing beside Kira in the observation hall of the Valari flagship, whispered, "We have never faced anything like this. Even our greatest fleets could not survive against a single wave, but humans, they are fearless." Kira nodded silently. "I see it now. The stories were true. But this is beyond imagination." Mara issued orders to the fleet. "All ships, move into engagement formation. Humans in the front, Valari alongside for support. Focus on coordination. Every strike counts. Every mistake is costly. But we do not stop. We cannot stop. For every world we protect, every life we save, we fight. Humanity survives because we never give up." As the combined fleets surged forward, the first wave of the swarm struck. Drones crashed against shields, metal tearing against metal, explosions lighting up the darkness. The Valari fired their energy cannons, but the drones moved with a precision that was terrifying. They avoided predictable patterns and adapted instantly. The humans responded with what the Valari could only describe as perfect choreography. Smaller human strike crafts weaved through the drones like living creatures, striking vulnerable points while drawing fire away from the larger ships. Energy beams lanced through the void, targeting the swarm's cores with pinpoint accuracy. One Valari officer, a veteran of a dozen wars, muttered in disbelief, "It's unbelievable. They are everywhere, yet nowhere. How do they do this?" Commander Grant, observing the fleet, replied, "It's not just skill, it's training, strategy, and courage. Humans do not fear impossible odds. We face them." Hours passed. The battle raged across the nebula, the void filled with flashes of light as the swarm collided with the combined fleet. Human ships moved with relentless precision, their tactics evolving in real time, predicting the swarm's adaptive behavior. Valari ships learned quickly, mimicking the humans, gaining confidence and efficiency. Then, a massive swarm dreadnought emerged from the heart of the nebula. Its size dwarfed even the Titan, and its core glowed red-hot, pulsating with immense energy. The swarm's drones formed a protective barrier around it, moving like a living shield. The Valari fleet hesitated. No ship in their history could challenge such a force. But Mara did not flinch. She turned to her officers and said, "We face this together. We will strike at its heart, and we will win. This is what humans do. Courage, skill, unity." The Titan surged forward, leading the charge. Smaller human vessels flanked the dreadnought, striking weak points in its armor. Valari ships followed suit, now confident in their combined strength. Energy beams, plasma cannons, and missiles rained down, chipping away at the massive ship. The swarm adapted, firing back with devastating force. Several human ships took heavy damage, and a few were destroyed. Yet the humans did not falter. Every action was calculated, every maneuver precise. Admiral Vance activated the Titan's ultimate weapon, the Solar Lance Array. Energy gathered along the ship's hull, forming a beam brighter than a star. The entire fleet watched as the weapon charged, humming with immense power. "Fire!" Mara commanded. The solar lance cut through the swarm dreadnought's defenses, striking its core with unrelenting force. The dreadnought shuddered, then exploded in a blinding wave of light and debris, scattering the surrounding drones. Valari ships cheered, their faith in humanity solidifying into awe. Talon whispered, "The legends. They were real. They are more than we imagined." The swarm, now weakened and disorganized, attempted to regroup. Mara saw this and knew the moment had come to end the battle. "All ships, follow me. We finish this now. We do not retreat. We do not falter." The combined fleet pressed forward, striking with relentless precision. Humans led the charge, Valari following, and the swarm found itself overwhelmed. Its drones fell one by one, energy cores destroyed, mechanical limbs shredded by the precise human assault. By the time the battle ended, the swarm had retreated into deep space, battered and diminished. The fleet floated in silence, the void littered with debris from the enemy. Every ship, human and Valari alike, had endured damage, yet the victory was absolute. Terra's 9, the colony that had first witnessed humanity's return, erupted in celebration. Humans and Valari worked side by side to repair ships, tend to the wounded, and clear the remnants of the swarm. For the first time in generations, hope had returned. Mara addressed the combined fleets via holographic projection. The battle is won, but the war is not over. The Moro swarm will recover, adapt, and return. But now, you have seen what is possible when courage, skill, and unity guide us. Humanity stands with you, and together, we are stronger than anything the galaxy can throw at us. The Valari Council officially declared humanity as an ally of the Union. The skepticism that had divided them melted away. Kira, once doubtful, now stood with pride. They are not myths. They are legends in flesh and blood. And they have saved our worlds. Talon, beside her, nodded. And they have taught us something even more important. Bravery, unity, and the courage to face impossible odds. That is what makes humans human. Across the galaxy, news of the human fleet's return spread like wildfire. Systems long thought lost whispered of humans, sharing the story of a race once believed extinct, now returned with power, skill, and courage unmatched by any other species. The swarm, sensing defeat and the overwhelming power of humanity, retreated beyond known space. But even in retreat, it learned. It adapted. It would return, and the galaxy knew that when it did, humans would be waiting. In orbit above a quiet star, Mara Vance stood on the Titan's observation deck. She looked at the stars, countless points of light stretching across the galaxy. "We are not legends," she whispered to herself. "We are reality, and we will protect it." Commander Grant joined her. "Do you think the galaxy understands now?" he asked. Mara smiled faintly. "They understand more than ever. They understand that humans never give up, never surrender, and never falter. That is something no enemy can defeat. That is what makes us human." Far below, Valari officers trained alongside humans, learning new strategies, new tactics, and new ways to fight. Across countless star systems, hope spread. Species who once doubted humanity now whispered their respect. Humans were not just back, they had returned to protect, to teach, and to lead. And somewhere in the void, the swarm watched, calculating, learning, preparing for the next battle. But it had learned something too. Humanity could not be underestimated. It would not be forgotten. It was a force beyond reckoning, unstoppable, and alive with courage. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humans, once thought lost to legend, had returned. And in every system, in every star, every race knew the truth. When humans stood together, no darkness could prevail. The Valari and humans now prepared for the challenges ahead, ready to face any threat together. The galaxy had a new hope, a new legend made real. And the day the humans arrived, the galaxy learned a simple truth. Legends are real when humans are involved. And so, in the vast darkness of space, amidst the stars and nebulae, humanity's return marked the beginning of a new era. One of courage, unity, and unstoppable hope. The stars shone a little brighter that night, reflecting the light of human determination. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. The humans are back, and we are not alone.